1 month prior to the wedding, my fiancé accompanied me on a camping trip in the wilderness. At approximately 10 o'clock in the evening, he received a phone call and hastily informed me, "Luna, there's an urgent matter at the company, I must return to address it immediately." I asked him anxiously, "But this is a remote wilderness, and it's raining, are you at ease leaving me, a woman, alone?" His response was an indifferent silhouette turning away. Shortly after his departure, wild animals emerged, and, gripped by fear, I called him, only to hear a woman's voice answer, "Victor is showering, it's inconvenient for him to take the call." At that moment, my mind became a void, unable to fathom that my boyfriend of 3 years could betray me. Later, in the dead of night, I traversed the jungle amidst torrential rain to evade wild animals, unable to reach Victor by phone. Consequently, I contracted a severe cold, suffered persistent fever, and ultimately required an abortion procedure, yet he never once visited me in the hospital. I realized that this marriage could not proceed. However, after I relocated abroad, he was overwhelmed with regret. As I lay on the hospital bed, my head spinning, the nurse's voice echoed in my ears, "Madam, you've been hospitalized for 2 days, hasn't any family member arrived? Your abortion consent form requires his signature." Having narrowly escaped death in the jungle, my fever finally subsided, and my consciousness cleared. I apologized to the doctor, saying, "I'm sorry, doctor, please wait a moment while I call my fiancé." I picked up my phone, unlocked it, and found the screen still on Facebook. Instinctively scrolling, I encountered a post by Victor's secretary, Chloe, whose boss is this considerate, buying me sanitary pads and preparing brown sugar water in the middle of the night. Accompanied by a photo of Victor in a bathrobe diligently cooking in the kitchen. It became evident that on that night, he had abandoned me not for an urgent company matter, but to tend to his secretary during her menstrual period. That night, he could have waited for me to pack my belongings so we could leave together, but his haste denied me even a few minutes, otherwise I would not have. My heart ached intensely, as though constricted by an unseen force, rendering breathing difficult. I silently liked the post and logged out of Facebook. Over our 3-year relationship, during which we cohabited, I knew he had once loved me, just as I had deeply loved him. However, since he employed a new secretary, everything changed. I was no longer the person he most cherished. Desiring to grant him an opportunity, I dialed his number. After a prolonged delay, the call connected, and before I could speak, Victor's reprimands assailed me vehemently. "Luna, what are you fussing about? I've already explained that there's nothing between Chloe and me. She's threatening to resign because of your like on her post. Would you take her place as the president's secretary if she leaves?" Previously, he could scarcely bear to raise his voice at me, let alone reprimand me thus. The words I intended to utter were forcibly suppressed, as speaking to him seemed utterly futile. "You'd best console your little secretary." After hanging up, I forced a wry smile and addressed the doctor. "Doctor, I'll sign it myself." Shortly thereafter, Victor called again. "Luna, since you've already returned, why didn't you inform me beforehand? You made me waste a trip." His words provoked both anger and incredulous laughter. He was oblivious to the numerous calls I made 2 nights prior, only recalling after 2 days that he had left me alone in the jungle. "Didn't you think to call me before coming to pick me up? What, is your little secretary the only one you see now?" Victor, on the other end, paused perceptibly, as if recognizing the harshness of his earlier words, and his tone softened. "Since you're back, take care of yourself. The company has been very busy lately, so I won't be returning home for the time being." "Fine, do as you please." After ending the call, I caressed my faintly aching abdomen post-abortion and silently resolved within myself. During my week-long hospitalization, Victor neither appeared nor contacted me, and I refrained from informing him of the abortion, further solidifying my intent to depart. On the day I was discharged and returned home, Victor also returned. Observing my pallor, he approached with concern. "What have you been doing this week? You look terrible. You're about to become a mother. Even if you don't value yourself, consider the child in your womb." His gaze lingered upon me, why does it seem your belly has shrunk? That won't do, you need to eat more. Mention of the child caused my heart to convulse painfully, still unrecovered from the grief of its loss. Now he expressed concern, yet the child no longer existed. Initially, upon learning of my pregnancy, Victor was exceedingly anxious, declaring, "Luna, focus solely on nurturing the pregnancy, I'll handle everything." Yet, since hiring his new secretary, he had forgotten those promises. "Victor, do you know that My subsequent words were cut off by his ringing phone. "How could you be so careless? I'm coming over now." After hanging up, Victor hastened to leave but paused, returning to explain, "Chloe fell accidentally and can't walk. I need to check on her, don't overthink it." "Yes, go ahead, I won't overthink it after all, it's a matter of life and death," I stated calmly, my eyes devoid of any anger. Victor seemed momentarily unable to accept my sudden composure, as I had previously questioned his whereabouts persistently. Often to his annoyance, he gazed at me intently before departing. I surveyed the house where I had resided for a year, a wedding home prepared by Victor. All its contents were procured by me, yet tailored to his preferences. Nothing truly belonged to me. Since I was no longer the foremost in his heart, there was no necessity to proceed with this marriage. I retrieved my phone and called my overseas best friend. Eva answered with excitement, "Luna, have you finally decided to join my team?" "Yes, as long as you're still willing to take me in." "What are you saying? A design genius like you is more than I could hope for." "Good, then book me a flight for 2 weeks from now." "Isn't that the date of your wedding in 2 weeks?" "There will be no wedding." After consoling me at length, Eva reluctantly ended the call. I met Victor at a gym where he came to exercise with friends, and I served as his temporary sparring coach. Initially, he struck me as reserved, perhaps nursing an emotional wound. Being talkative, I gradually grew familiar with him as his visits increased. On one occasion, a client requested a sparring session but persistently harassed me. Witnessing this, Victor severely reprimanded the man. It was that incident which led me to fall in love with him, and he assured me we would be together forever. Only now do I realize that promises too have an expiration. Victor returned home the following evening, visibly exhausted. I sat on the nearby sofa reviewing materials, as re-entering the design field necessitated study. Victor habitually reached for the cup on the table, only to find it empty upon bringing it to his lips. He looked at me quizzically. "Why is there no water in the cup?" In the past, regardless of when or how late he returned, he would always find hot water I had prepared. When drunk, I would ready a sobering soup, tasks I now had no desire to perform. "If you want a drink, pour it yourself, you're not without hands." Only then did Victor sense my discontent. "Luna, are you still upset?" "I told you, it's not what you think with Chloe, her foot was badly swollen yesterday." I recalled Chloe's Facebook post from the previous night, a minor scrape captioned, "Look how nervous the boss is," with a photo of her bandaged heel, yet he described it as severe. "Oh, I understand," I replied without glancing at Victor. He stared at me again. "Aren't you due for a prenatal checkup the day after tomorrow?" "I'll accompany you." Upon discharge, the doctor instructed me to return for a follow-up in 3 days, so we might as well go together to clarify everything, including the wedding cancellation. "Yes, fine." The next morning, I arose and entered the dining room, where a plate of shrimp dumplings sat on the table. Seeing me, Victor said, "You're up, come eat your favorite shrimp dumplings I queued for over an hour. I need to deliver some to Chloe afterward." My expression darkened. "Have you forgotten? I'm allergic to shrimp and can't eat them." Victor's face stiffened, betraying embarrassment. "Oh, then I'll get you something else." "No need, I'll be going out and will buy it myself." "Then be careful, I have important matters to attend to at the company, so I'll leave first." I indeed had tasks to address. The bridal shop had just informed me that my ordered wedding dress had arrived, but since I intended to end this relationship, it no longer held significance. I arrived at the bridal shop, where the clerk approached with a troubled look. "Miss Luna, I apologize, your fiancé took the wedding dress you ordered for someone else to try on. At that moment, a voice emanated from within. Victor, do you think this wedding dress looks better on me or on your fiancé? It looks better on you. Hearing this, I was stunned, anger gradually welling within me. How could Victor permit another woman to wear the wedding dress I had designed myself? I strode inside to Victor's side and confronted him. What are you doing? Hearing my voice, he turned swiftly, a flicker of panic in his eyes. Luna, why are you here? Why do you think I'm here? To try on my wedding dress, of course, but why is it on this woman? Chloe approached with a aggrieved expression, grasping my arm. Sister Luna, don't blame Victor. I just found this dress beautiful and couldn't resist begging him to let me try it on. Noticing the provocation in Chloe's eyes, I attempted to withdraw my arm, but before I could exert force, she fell to the ground, whimpering. Sister Luna, don't be angry, I'll take off the dress and return it to you now. Observing this, Victor rushed over anxiously to assist Chloe from the floor, asking tenderly, Chloe, are you all right? Victor, I'm fine, go comfort Sister Luna and calm her down, I didn't mean it. Victor turned sharply, glaring at me fiercely. Luna, why have you become so jealous? Chloe apologized, yet you maliciously pushed her apologize to her now. Gazing at Victor, wholly devoted to another, my heart involuntarily ached. Indeed, how could one cease caring for someone loved deeply for 3 years? Taking a deep breath, I looked at Victor with disappointment. If I say I didn't push her, would you believe me? Luna, that's enough, bickering with a young girl, where's your magnanimity? Suppressing tears on the verge of spilling, I declared, I won't confess to something I didn't do, nor apologize, since she loves this dress so much, I'll give it to her. With that, I turned and left without looking back. Having decided to forsake him, what purpose did retaining that dress serve? Returning home, I began packing items to take with me, completing most of it amounting to just 2 suitcases. Around 2 in the afternoon, still asleep, I groggily heard the door opening. Presuming it was Victor, I rose and left the room. Upon seeing Chloe instead, my body stiffened momentarily, and I inquired, why are you here? Chloe approached with evident triumph. Naturally, Victor gave me the key. As she spoke, she flaunted the key, and I noticed the heart-shaped bracelet on her wrist. It was the latest bracelet, symbolizing eternal unity, and my favorite design, unique in the market, yet adorned Chloe's wrist. My heart turned utterly cold, and I said icily, take what you need and leave quickly. Luna, you saw today that Victor now loves me. You, the fiancé, are out. Be sensible and leave quickly, lest I have to evict you myself. How humiliating. I sneered. You want to take my place? Fine, let Victor tell me himself. As long as I remain his fiancé, you're merely a clandestine mistress. You wait. Chloe stormed off angrily. Soon after, Victor called. Luna, I only sent Chloe home for an important document. She returned crying. Why did you scold her? I hadn't anticipated her successful complaint to Victor. I didn't scold her, she spoke disrespectfully, and I merely responded. I know you're upset because she tried on your dress without permission, but she apologized. Let it go, I'll bring you a gift tonight, so wait for me at home obediently. That evening, Victor indeed returned with an exquisite gift box, beaming. Luna, I bought you that bracelet you love most. Opening the box and recognizing the bracelet, I discarded it along with the box into the trash, stating, I won't accept something another has worn. Victor's smile froze, his gaze incredulous. Luna, how have you become so unreasonable? I bought it because you said you liked it. At that moment, I could endure no longer and stated coldly, Victor, let's break up, the wedding is cancelled. Wait, Luna, what do you mean? Our wedding is just over a week away, can you cancel it just like that? Is this all my fault? Reflect on how long it's been since you genuinely cared for me. When I needed you, you were always with your secretary. You even gave her the key to our house. Did you ever inform me of this? If you no longer like me, please tell me in advance. I'm not unreasonable. I would let you go, rather than allowing Chloe's arrogance to grow and her to provoke me at home as now. After my words, Victor recognized my recent transformation and his own excesses, saying nervously, "Luna, Chloe can be willful at times, don't take her words to heart." "I won't take it to heart anymore, but breaking up is no jest." Victor scrutinized me again, his eyes brimming with disbelief. Indeed, over the past 3 years, those who knew us understood my profound love for Victor, even resigning as a sparring coach to become a homemaker for him. If I said Victor didn't want me, they would believe it, but they would never believe that I left Victor on my own initiative. But when a person has accumulated enough disappointment, he will give up everything, no matter how important it was in the past. "I know you're still angry. After accompanying you to the prenatal checkup tomorrow, let's visit your parents. You've always wanted me to go with you, haven't you?" Correct, we were nearing marriage, yet he had never met my parents, agreeing each time to join me but consistently reneging. "Let's discuss it tomorrow, I'm tired and need to rest." "Alright, I'll help you to your room, sleepiness is normal for pregnant women." Hearing pregnant woman now calmed my heart somewhat. I wondered how he'd react tomorrow upon learning the child was gone. Early the next morning, we arrived at the hospital together. Only upon entering the doctor's office did Victor react. "Luna, aren't we here for a prenatal checkup? Why are we in gynecology? The child is gone, what prenatal checkup? I'm here for a follow-up." Victor stumbled back, shocked. "What do you mean? What does 'the child is gone' mean? You were 4 months pregnant." The attending doctor, the same from my prior hospitalization, could no longer tolerate it and began berating Victor. "Sir, what kind of husband are you? Recently, your wife was admitted with a persistent fever from excessive rain exposure. To save her life, we had to perform an abortion, and you were unreachable throughout." Hearing the doctor, Victor realized our child was lost because he abandoned me in the jungle, his face etched with regret as he sought to explain. "Luna, let me explain. That night, I truly had matters to attend to. Why didn't you call me when the accident happened?" Recalling that night still fills me with dread. Without some resilience, it would have been a double fatality. "Who says I didn't call?" "Your little secretary answered, saying you were showering and couldn't take the call." Victor strained to recollect. "That day, I was drenched when I reached the company, so I showered. Why didn't you call again later?" That night, he was clearly occupied preparing brown sugar water for his secretary, yet now he lied about being at the company, learning deceit for that mistress. "I did call over a dozen times without success." Victor then recalled seeing my number on his block list the next day, sensing something amiss. He grew anxious, grasping my hand. "Luna, I'm sorry. I might have pressed something wrong and accidentally blocked you. It wasn't intentional. Please believe me." I regarded Victor impassively, recognizing his excuses for Chloe, and said, "It no longer matters." The doctor eyed Victor with contempt. "Miss Luna must have endured 8 lifetimes of misfortune to encounter a husband like you. He soon won't be." With that, I followed the doctor into the examination room. After the examination, as I reached the hospital entrance, my best friend called, "Luna, your employment paperwork is complete. Do you need anything else prepared in advance?" "No, I'll decide when I get there." After hanging up, Victor asked urgently, "Luna, who were you speaking to? Where are you going?" "No one, you misheard." I withheld my departure plans from Victor, fearing his domineering nature might impede me. Victor regarded me skeptically, searching my face for signs of deception. "Really?" "Yes, really," I replied with an unaltered expression. Unable to discern anything from my demeanor, Victor said, "Then go home and wait. I'll handle some company matters and pick you up later." Since my hometown was in another city, over 600 kilometers away, requiring a 2-day round trip, it was reasonable for him to arrange affairs. Yet, after returning home, I waited until sunset without his arrival. Evidently, I held no standing in his eyes. Accumulated disappointment morphed into despair, and at that moment, I utterly lost faith in Victor. I took my pre-packed suitcase, discarded all my used belongings, and departed without a backward glance. Had Victor cared, he would have long noticed the wardrobe, once brimming with my clothes, now nearly empty. Days had passed since I began packing, yet he remained oblivious, ample proof of my insignificance to him. At midnight, I returned to my home, unseen for 2 years, and my eyes moistened at the sight of my white-haired parents. My parents had scrimped their entire lives to fund my education at a top design university, yet I abandoned those aspirations for Victor. "Mom, Dad, I've disappointed you." My mother, visibly worried, asked, "Luna, what's wrong? Didn't you say Victor was coming with you?" Since entering, my parents saw no other figure, and their disappointment was palpable to me. "He won't return with me, I've broken up with him, and the wedding will be cancelled." I recounted recent events to them. My mother embraced me tenderly. "Luna, don't grieve, you deserve better. With us, you have support. Indeed, a parental home is a sanctuary." Then, my phone rang from my bag. "Victor calling." I hesitated, but my father said, "Answer it, I'll speak to him." "Luna, hear me out, urgent company matters delayed me, so I couldn't tell you. I'm rushing home now and will go with you tomorrow." Victor's excuse again incited incredulous laughter. En route, I had clearly seen Chloe's Facebook post. "Thank you, boss, for accompanying me to visit my long unseen parents." With a photo of Victor jovially with Chloe's family. "Humph. Luna is home now, you needn't return with her. Our Jiang family can't afford a son-in-law like you." Hearing my father, Victor paused noticeably. "Uncle, what do you mean?" "What else could I mean? Didn't Luna tell you she's breaking up?" "We concur, so from now, you have no ties with our Luna." "No, uncle, let me explain. I won't break up with Luna. I love her. Victor's love is too expansive for me to bear. Let's cease contact." I hung up and blocked his number. After I hung up, Victor's repeated calls failed to connect, realizing then that I was serious about the breakup. Panicking, he opened navigation to locate me, only to recall after much searching that he lacked my family's address. Finally, he struck the steering wheel in frustration, speeding through several red lights to verify my words upon returning home. He rushed into our room, opened the wardrobe once filled with my clothes now starkly empty. Still incredulous, he dashed to the bathroom. The vanity, once laden with my cosmetics, bore only his items. Searching every corner of the house, he found no trace of my belongings, only the discarded gift box in the trash. It was as if I had never lived there. Only then did he truly grasp that he was losing me, slumping powerlessly to the floor, eyes dim, utterly transformed. The day after returning, I messaged my friends individually, announcing the wedding's cancellation. Some mutual friends of Victor and me questioned, "Have you lost your mind? Weren't you always in love with Victor? Why cancel the engagement?" I too wished I'd lost my senses, sparing me this pain. Soon, Victor's mother, likely hearing rumors, called me. Victor's mother had always treated me well, so I decided to take this final call. "Luna, I don't know what transpired between you and Victor, but with the wedding imminent and invitations sent, canceling now, where does that leave our Schwe family's honor? Don't fuss, return quickly, and I'll discipline him. This will pass." Not my biological parent, she couldn't fathom my pain, her words solely for the Schwe family's sake. "Auntie, Victor and I cannot reconcile, henceforth, consider me a stranger. The daughter-in-law you desire, Victor has found, but it's not me." "Hey, no, you're carrying Victor's child, at least give birth before deciding." Evidently, Victor hadn't informed her of my miscarriage. How could he dare, given he indirectly caused the child's loss? "Your son caused the child's death, didn't you know? Let's not contact each other again." Ignoring her response, I hung up. After resolving these matters, I sunbathed with my mother in the yard. Someone pushed open our gate, and I looked up to meet Victor's eyes. He strode over, squatted beside me, and said, "Luna, stop this, come home with me, will you?" The wedding won't be cancelled. I've expanded its plans to proclaim to the world that you, Luna, are my sole wife in this lifetime. Does he still believe I'm merely upset? Yet, I am entirely earnest and resolved to end it with him. I pushed away Victor's hand from my arm. Victor, I'm not upset. I've been calm. It's over between us. Let's preserve some dignity, shall we? Why can you just declare a breakup? What have I done wrong? I gazed at Victor oddly. How could he still dare ask this now? Past scenes flooded my mind. That day, I playfully asked, Victor, if I ever suggested breaking up, what would you do? He affectionately tapped my nose. I'd never give you the chance to say it. But if that day truly came, what then? That day will never come, I swear. His many oaths ultimately became the sharpest blades wounding me. Fine, since you're unclear, I'll enlighten you. I retrieved all of Chloe's Facebook posts for him to see. His expression darkened as he read. I never knew she'd post such things. I swear there's nothing between us. She's my mentor's daughter, whom he asked me to look after. I never intended anything with her, Luna, please trust me. I believe she was just playful, not aiming to interfere with us. It's my fault for not maintaining boundaries, hurting you unintentionally. I'm deeply sorry. Is that so? Since he doubted me, I'd render him speechless. I handed him surveillance footage I'd kept. After this, you won't cling to your earlier claims. I showed him Chloe's provocative remarks at home and the bridal shop footage of her deliberate fall and false accusation. Victor stepped back, visibly unable to accept it. Luna, only now do I see her true nature. Wait for me, I'll go discipline her, and our wedding will proceed as planned. Victor, it's unnecessary. Even now, you've failed to grasp why I'm ending this. Then I'll detail it. When you left me alone in the jungle and I couldn't reach you for help, you were buying pads and making brown sugar water for Chloe, costing us our first child. You let her wear my dress without consent and believed I pushed her. You promised to join me home, yet I waited from day to night while you dined merrily with her family. Enough, stop, Victor interrupted, pained. Only then did he realize the extent of my hurt, all past neglect and harm due to Chloe flooding his mind, overwhelming him. Struggling to compose himself, he said, Luna, I know I can't earn your forgiveness now, but please wait, I'll handle this and come for you. With that, Victor swiftly left my home. Watching his receding figure, my heart grew calmer. Ceasing to love someone brought such inner relief. To prevent Victor's return, I asked my best friend to advance my flight. A second before boarding, I unblocked Victor, sent him a message, then powered off my phone, removed the SIM card, and discarded it. Farewell, Victor, farewell to my 3-year love. After leaving my home and returning to the company, Victor summoned Chloe to his office, severely reprimanded her, and processed her resignation. By the time he read my message, I had landed safely. My best friend greeted me with a warm embrace. I missed you terribly. It's wonderful you're here. I finally have company. Teary-eyed, I said, Eva, thank you for taking me in. She nudged my head. Silly, love isn't everything, you have my friendship. Indeed, though love is priceless, friendship is more valuable. I was to begin a new life without Victor. Joining the new company kept me busy daily. As some say, busy work helps forget many woes. Victor gradually faded to a corner of my mind. Later, Eva told me Chloe, resentful of Victor's treatment, slandered him online for abandoning her and sold company secrets to rivals. Victor's company suffered greatly. Enraged, he had Chloe arrested. Hearing this, my heart remained unmoved. Their fates no longer concerned me. 3 months after my departure abroad, Victor found me, embracing me tightly, sobbing, Luna, I love you, always have. I deeply regret my errors, and Chloe's been punished. Will you come home with me? I broke free, stating ruthlessly, Victor, it's too late, let's not hurt each other further. I'm thriving without you. Victor stood as if petrified, stunned, unprepared for my rejection. His eyes brimmed with loss and reluctance, shouting, Luna, I'll die without you. Since losing the child, your life or death ceased to concern me, I declared resolutely and mercilessly. Tears welled in Victor's eyes, yet he sneered, "Fine, very well, we're finished." He staggered away, muttering something I no longer cared to heed. Later, distracted while driving, he suffered a severe accident, losing a leg. I ceased to care and never saw him again. Returning to design, I swiftly distinguished myself, earning numerous awards, and thereafter ascended to the pinnacle of my life.